Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of our project, Civic. In the last episode, we showed you guys the wheels and the tires that we're going to be putting on this thing. And in this episode, before we get to the fun stuff, we got to do some maintenance, some hardcore maintenance, tearing into the engine, replacing things like the water pump, timing belt, and a whole lot more. So sit back, relax, enjoy us fumbling with this car for the next however many hours.
There he goes.
It didn't sound like valves were out of adjustment, but we'll check.
No.
Because this is going to be off anyway.
Yeah. So, on my old D-Series, every single one of the bolts right here broke off inside of the head. I definitely over-torqued them, and it wasn't by like much, but it happened. And so I used Honda Bond on the whole thing, and it was held in with Honda Bond till its dying day. Like, no joke.
Jeez. It's not been off in a while. These little seals will get replaced.
Yeah.
You can see the hole is a bit bigger than what this bolt is, but that's what seals it all in.
Yep. Easy peasy. Here we are.
It's not bad.
Let's see. Yeah, the oils, I mean, it's...
For the mileage, it's not bad. Yeah. Certainly with a bit, like, you could run some engine flush to make it look a bit cleaner. Let me grab my light so we can see it in detail.
See the deck down here, looks fine, looks fine. All the valves are here. We're not missing anything, which is nice.
And the oil's just dirty, it's not been changed, but it's not really sludgy, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it definitely changes oil, and then maybe on your next oil change run a flush through it, but it's not like sludgy.
Good. Not our first time removing this, eh?
Not at all, no. We're not gonna move it over, we're just gonna move it out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay, PS belt.
And yes, we have disconnected the battery before we removed the ground.
That's why it's slipping. There we go.
Poor thing.
Yeah, but Craftsman, so you can get it rebuilt or replaced.
Replaced, yeah. This bolt right here is in a very precarious spot. We've got like the smallest socket, smallest ratchet. It's tiny right here at the strut tower. So now we've got the idler pulley out of the way right here, so we got access to that bolt, and it doesn't really spin all that much. This should be like a fidget spinner where I can spin it real fast and it'll stay for a while.
As well.
Yeah, it sounds like a little bike bell, like ting ting. So we're gonna replace this as well. So now we've gotten everything out of the way on this side. So we got the power steering and everything out of the way here. Belts are off, pulleys off. We have access to all of that. Now we're working on this side back here. Alternator's gonna have to come loose for us. There we go, look at that. All right. Again, not looking too bad here. And now we've got access to all this. We're replacing this mount. Check that out. Look, it's just completely gone. So we got a new mount on the way. And then right here, you want to explain what your hand is on right here?
So this is a crankshaft removal tool for specifically Hondas. This crankshaft pulley has to come off. So it has, you see, it's got a little indentation for a hex head. Stick this tool in there, then you can hold on to that with another wrench, and then you undo the nut in there, which is very tight.
Okay, we've got this bar jammed up against the suspension here. We're gonna hit it from right here. Hello, Mr. Spider. Torque. It is at this point we have decided to use a torch. The good old phrase, can't be tied if it's a liquid, definitely applies here. Ooh, man, that is deflecting hardcore. Well,
Broke the socket.
we broke the socket. Check that out. Clean break.
The adapter, actually.
Fine. Throw some more heat at it. All right, now we have directly on there. Good piece of steel. It's coming.
Yep, she's going.
Fantastic. No, look at that. It's
There
coming.
we go.
There we are. Ha ha. I would also like to clarify something. This is kind of a cheat for those being home mechanics, because obviously not everybody's gonna have oxyacetylene at their disposal, but you can go to the store and get the cans of what?
Gas, the propane, those little torches, they'll do just the same.
Yeah, absolutely. They're like 15, 20 bucks at your local hardware store, or even some auto parts stores have them, and they will do just as well. You just get them set up on it, let them sit for a little bit, and then they will work like a trick.
Your new kit comes with, see, it's obviously this pan's also seeping too. You see there's a good bit of buildup right here. There's a seal that's behind this.
Yep, I got a new one. We'll be replacing that. There you are.
Nice and hot. Timing cover.
Ta-da! How's it look?
Not bad, just a little oily from crank seal.
Yep, and we will be replacing that. I'll take that and then put the bolts with it. All right, so now that we have the entire cover off, Adrian, why don't you explain the marks here and I'll zoom in.
Okay, so there's an up on this cam gear, and you want that to be pointing directly up, like parallel with the top of the engine. So if you look at the valve train, you always have tools to help a little bit. You want to be parallel with the top of the engine like this.
Yep.
And then there's also these little marks. I'm going to point it with the wrench. You see right there, there's a little mark, and there's a little mark on this side corresponding. You can see that. If those marks correspond with that little triangle right there that I'm pointing at with the top tooth of the wrench. That little triangle, there's one on the other side as well.
Check that out.
So you want to get that lined up with that before you disturb any of the timing. And,
Lovely.
Yeah, now we can start kind of tearing into it.
Let's do it. Okay, so diving straight in.
So this spring is what holds tension on the tensioner pulley. So that's typically what I start pulling off, is this little spring.
Now with the tensioner, which is this one right here, loosened, you see the timing belt moving freely.
Here's our tensioner pulley. Definitely worn. Shouldn't make any noise. Shouldn't be so free, but we have all new parts. Let's see. NGK. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the original components. So I cannot confirm that this is the original one, obviously, but it is an OEM one. And if it is the OEM one, it's held up decently well. You can see the teeth, or on some of them. I can see there's a couple or more, but yeah, see the teeth starting to separate and fray from the actual belt itself. Just old, and then you start to see kind of just old and dry. See on the letters how weathered they are. If you compare that to a new one, nice and matte, you don't see any cracks. All that is nice and together, not frayed. Yeah, see, nice and defined. So you can tell kind of a new one. You get the cam pulley off. You see there's a seal right here, and this one was obviously leaking. And I've already got it popped out, but basically just stick a screwdriver in there, pop it right out, and then drop it on the floor, of course.
Yeah.
And then as you can see in here, it's a little bit dirty, so you want to clean all up in here. And then on the shaft where it sits, I want to run over that with a little bit of sandpaper. And your new seal, just put a little bit of oil on it, just a thin film of oil, and just pops right back in place.
There we go. New one's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Press it in real good. And of course it'll get kind of compressed back in when you put your crank pulley in as well. But that's it.
So we've got both of the water pumps. This is the old one, and this is the new one. Tell them at home a little bit about what the differences are.
Okay, so this is an OEM Honda one. I suspect that this is the original one that the car was shipped with from the factory. And this is a 96, which was the first year of this generation of Civic. And so you can see this is a brand new pump. You can see there are some redundancies in the way this is manufactured, like where different hardware would have been, maybe for different applications, just different designs that they were going with. And this is a later casting. I believe this new one's an Eisen, and Eisen supplies a lot of the OEM parts for the manufacturers. And I wouldn't be surprised if Eisen made this one, but it might be one of the other companies, but they're usually Eisen. Regardless, Eisen is what they use now. It's as good as OEM part. And a lot of the times it will literally be the OEM part just with different names on it. So these are the tensioner pulleys for the timing belt. That's what keeps it tense. This is the old one. This is the new one. You can see it's just a bearing in there. Definitely pretty noisy and pretty free spinning. This one, quiet. It has some resistance. It isn't just free spin. There's just a fresh bearing in there. So
no noise. And there you have it, folks. Got it all put back together. All looks very nice, and very, very little play here. Everything's torqued down, torque specs. So yeah, looks great. PSA, if your motor mount comes apart in 2 pieces, it's time for replacement. And we've got a new one right here. Looks beautiful. Well, there you have it, guys. We've got everything on successfully. This car does run. We checked everything after we put everything back on. Works great. Now, we did have some setbacks through this, like the crankshaft pulley lost the woodruff key for it for some reason. So Adrian made a brand new woodruff key to fit inside of the crankshaft pulley. Really, really trick stuff. And a couple other things here and there, but you know, what build doesn't have its minor weird setbacks? This one's got a lot of them. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll be doing a little bit more maintenance on this car probably over the next episode or 2. Got some other cool stuff headed your way, so be sure to subscribe if you're not already. Leave a like on the video if you did like it, and comment down below if you learned something on this build. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. Later.